I am Simone Brownlow. I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, specifically in a little town called Hercules. Graduated from Clark Atlanta in 2010. And then from there, I just was in corporate America. So the last 11 years, I've been in corporate America, specifically in the food and beverage industry in sales. I've moved all over the country doing that for years and years and years. I came home in 2016, and in my mind, when I was coming home, I was going to be greeted with all this love and excitement, and everything was going to be so smooth. My whole life was just going to pan out. I was going to be with the guy that I knew I was going to be with. I was going to have this amazing job. My family was going to be just so like almost like put me up on a pedestal and carry me around. And then none of that happened. Nothing happened. It crashed and burned. I was so devastated because I think my idea of what I wanted and the reality just did not meet. And I really suffered from just anxiety, and it just really knocked me down to the point where the job that I had when I moved here ended up being I struggled, I'll be honest. I struggled to do well. I struggled to deliver what I needed to. I ended up quitting 10 months in with no plan, no backup, just because I knew I couldn't deliver what I needed. I was getting so much pressure. And it was just like that on top of my relationship not working out that I thought was just the one. And also just family stuff that was happening at the same time. All that just compounded. I felt like I got hit with a ton of bricks, and I just fell apart, literally.
So was this the beginning of you really looking for something that could help you at the time? So take us back to, so that's going on. And then when did you hear about Reiki or get interested in life coaching?
A long time ago. I have an aunt, my mom's sister, who had always talked about Reiki, but she was always the eccentric one, and she was fun. And, it was kind of okay, that's her thing. She's into that. And that's where I remember first hearing the word and being like, what? Ray, what? But she would always rave about it and just how she felt so at peace and relaxed. And I just remember that from 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard it since. So once I was kind of one of the things I was looking for when I was going through this episode, I call it, at first I was looking for a traditional therapist, because it was to the point where I was living at home with my mom, and she even was like, hey, something's got to give. This is not good. So she suggested a traditional licensed therapist. And so I went to a session, and I really liked the girl. That? It was good. It was okay. Yeah. She was a younger girl, Latina. She understood cultural nuances. She also understood just what the times were, what I was going through. I felt heard, but she was just, I couldn't afford her. And also I didn't necessarily resonate with the structure of oh, let's talk about behavior and cognitive behavior. And that just something about that didn't work.
So curious to how much the session was.
Oh gosh, I think at the time she didn't take insurance, so it was $175 for 50 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, and at the time I just wasn't making enough and I had just quit my job, so I really was I'll do one session.
And what did she suggest? Every week, or what was the?
I think because of the state I was in, it was a weekly check-in. Normally, I think she would do every 2-week sessions for maintenance, but for where I was at the time, she was suggesting weekly. Okay. And I went to her twice. Okay. And again, like I said, she was fine, but something wasn't resonating. And I was like, okay, let me look at maybe a life coach. Maybe that might be more what I'm looking for. So I just remember the night, I couldn't sleep. I was up. It was 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I was scrolling on Yelp, and I was looking up life coach, and I was like, okay, Berkeley's got to have 1 million people. I'm sure, I'm just going to be too many people to choose from. And I'm scrolling and it's white women, right? White men. And I just kind of was like, no, I think I'd rather, again, I liked having someone I could talk to about cultural nuance and things
who lives it and understands it. Yeah.
And, I saw a few people, but I just wasn't they didn't have great reviews, or things weren't quite they didn't have enough information. They didn't have a website. And then like after a few scrolls, then you popped up. You were in
Mhm.
Alameda. You had like 5 stars, but not just like 1 or 2 5-stars. You had like 50, 60. Like it was like a ton of reviews with all positive feedback, and just everything was like, oh, she made me feel like, I was talking to a friend. I felt at home. It was like really good. Like it just felt good. So I went on your website from Yelp and set up my consultation call. And I think you called me the next day or 2 days later, and here we are.
What year was that? I'm trying to
That
think.
had to be 26, the end of 20, like the beginning of
wow.
2017. Yeah, I think it was like end of 2016, beginning, or I think it was the beginning of 2017 is when I started when I did that.
How has Reiki and coaching changed your life? Not only receiving it, but actually like now facilitating for people. Like how has just these tools changed your life?
Oh my gosh. So compared to like who I was back 2016, 2017, I mean, it's like a complete 180. So like since then, I've had jobs, I've lost jobs, I've, had relationships, I've ended those. There's been a lot that's going on, but I feel like my recovery from those things hasn't taken as long. Or, even if I'm very challenged, or if I'm triggered, or if I'm having a rough day, the dip or like the valley isn't as long.
Yeah.
And I think you even said that's like one of your sayings. It's like you go through these peaks and valleys, but the length of time that you're in the valley,
time.
the turnaround time is just so much quicker. And I think it's also helped me with my family relationships. It's helped me with my friend relationships, just as far as understanding where they're coming from and not taking things so personal.
Yeah.
And just being
that's a big one. Like, you learn to not take things so personally, because you can actually zoom out a bit and kind of see things for what it is, and why you're feeling triggered, and what's triggering them, and why is there even this argument happening, and okay, it's not such a big deal. We'll get through it. It's like, it's not the worst thing in the world. We'll be fine. Like, a shift in perspective.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Like shifting my perspective, like not looking at things as like, why is this happening to me? And like, it's like, okay, what can this do for me? And how can I take this and flip it? And like, how can I, this sucks, but like, all right, let me just lay down for a minute. And then now let me do some Reiki on myself and just like clear my energy and make sure I'm in a better space, or let me process this out loud with my team, my friends, and let me just get out the energy, and I can do it in a way that I'm not dumping on people, or I don't feel like I'm dumping on people. And I don't feel like it's, and they have the tools now, because now with the community you built, they have the tools to be able to like challenge lovingly and, push and do it in a way that resonates too. I think that's a big deal. Like that feels good. That doesn't feel like somebody's trying to, tell you like who you are and tell you what to do. It's just more like meeting you where you're at and just guiding you through whatever you're going through. And I've learned to do that, learning still. I mean, I think it's ongoing, but I feel better about being able to meet people where they're at and just work with them versus trying to make them be something they're not, or trying to push them in a direction that doesn't resonate for them. So it's I could keep going.
So many benefits.
Right.
But truly like awareness and perspective shift, and not having bad weeks and months, just having at the longest a bad day, and kind of already starting to feel better about it and look at something differently. And feeling your feelings, allowing those things to come up in a safe space that you can transform it, talk through it, figure out what the meaning is or what it's trying to teach you.
Yes. Absolutely. And just not operating through life blindly. I think now that, like you said, the awareness is just so key now, and just knowing like, all right, I'm triggered, I'm not feeling this, like this is not it, but like I can process it out faster, and it can just kind of move through my system without just sitting there and festering, turning into anxiety, turning into other things. I think that's also big.
What makes you excited about the work you're doing now, and like what, who are like your soul clients? I'm just curious, who are the clients that obviously you're going to work with people from all walks of life, but Absolutely. Is there a certain type of client that you just get so lit up to work with and help?
I think it's people who are seeking the help and want that perspective shift. People who feel like there's something better, there's something different out there, but they're just not sure how to go about it or how to feel about it. And I think it's the people who are going through transition, like a lot of people, if you've lost a job, if you've gone through a breakup, if you're moving, any of those major life transitions that just tend to take a lot of energy and take a lot of our time and can be really stressful. Even like moms, like you're either having a new baby or you're on your, second, third baby. And then you're like, life is just kind of coming at you in some ways and you're just trying to process it all.
Yeah.
So the transitioners, I call them, people who are even people in the corporate America who are trying to process their role in it and how they can still feel like they're contributing to the world, but in this setting, and how that's been a big lesson for me in this lifetime. And just how to, give back to people who are, just in need and looking for some peace at this point, because there's so much going on in the world. Like just being able to provide.
So chaotic, and people's mindset is just like, what's real, what's not real, like just kind of not grounded is the best way.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even know where home base is or feels like at this point. It just feels everything's just out there. What's real, what's not real, what's gonna happen next, when's the rug gonna get put back under me because it's been been ripped apart. Like it's like what's happening. So I think people are looking for a peace of mind, or coming back to their truth, because we're in a society where there's just so much illusions going on. But it's like, what's my truth? Like, what do I know to be true?
Yeah. And I think we take on so much of other people's stuff and energy, and like literally physically we like hold a lot of that. And so just being able to help people like get that out and just fill your energy up and make sure your cup is full. I mean, I know we hear that a lot, but like literally taking the hooks out, taking the energy out that does not belong to us, that's not ours, and just putting our own authentic energy back into our bodies. Like that's the big deal. Like that by itself is so life-changing, because now you know what you feel like. And when other people come with their stuff, you're like, that's not mine. Like I can, you have the tools to move that out a little faster too. So, I mean, that's big for me. And that's been a big practice. I do that daily. Like just like
what is something else that you do on some kind of regular basis that helps you stay grounded?
Yeah, so that practice, and then I would say like regular like cleansing. So like salt baths. I do some herbal baths, so certain herbs that have healing properties. I just like dump that over me, and making sure. So like I have what I call Florida water. So that's like a cleansing and clearing. It's like a cologne, but there's like spiritual properties. So I just have that kind of in a spray bottle, or your salt water bottle that I use. So just having cleansing tools, I would say. So whether it's the spiritual baths or the sprays on hand, like on a daily basis, are huge. And even honestly, like the essential oils have been like so key, like just in like, I've noticed like I can like my brain is like, oh, this smell is like to just calm down, girl. Like, or like this smell is like, let's go, let's get this done. And so like, I've been playing with it over the last few months, and I can just tell the difference. And just kind of like, if I rub this certain smell is triggering, like, okay, I want to relax. I just want to ease into the rest of my day or my night. Or this smell is like, ooh, okay, I got projects to do at work. I got like clients tonight. Like I'm ready. Like, so just starting to like play with my, like, I think it's like your olfactory bulb and like your senses, like those, that's been fun to play with and learn. And just kind of just having that going throughout the day in my diffuser.
Right.
And I would say, and then just like, nighttime Reiki. So before I go to bed, just like, kind of, basically calling in that universal energy, just to kind of like wash the day off in a way, like energetically. So you do the shower, but energetically just kind of
Cleanse.
We come in contact with so many people and we're pouring out so much throughout the day. So just restoring that energy and just rebalancing everything is like been helpful, very helpful.
What would you say is your best piece of advice to someone going through it right now in life, and somehow they found your profile page and they're on the fence and they're thinking about it, but they've really never tried anything like this before? They're a little scared, they're a little fearful, but they know they need help. So what would your advice be to them, or what made you take the plunge to reach out to me, I guess?
I think that's a really good question. I think I made up in my mind that I wanted the help, and I wanted it from a person of color, preferably a woman. And then I went from there to like, okay, I don't like how I'm feeling. And this person seems to have the tools or the guidance to kind of help me work through that. So it really was just trust, and trusting that, like, if I do this, like, even if maybe we don't align, at least I'll have an idea of like what to do, or at least like maybe I can say, okay, did I like that? Like just trying it out and trusting that.
And you can't, like with Reiki, you can talk to your blue in the face about what it is, and you can use every descriptive word in the dictionary, but until you just experience basically unconditional love running through your body, and experience those vibrations, and the peace. And everyone has such a different experience with it, but it's always for the highest good and a really good outcome. But everyone like will feel different things based on, their intuitive gifts. Like they might have visions, they might just feel things in their body, they might hear messages, right? Everyone's so different with what they get out of the session, or the sensations they feel. But I know that it's a deep sense of peace and love, and truth, like it. And I was saying, in a time where there feels to be some chaos and illusion, and people are just unsure, when you feel that energy and you're like, this is truth, like this is love, this is what like relaxation and being present and peaceful feels like.
And just knowing that. And then I think that really, like, leaving your session and knowing that feeling, I'm like, I want that feeling more often. And it's not like, it's not like I've never felt it, but just like, it's a different way of feeling it. And it just felt like, oh man, like I need this more often. So I'm coming back more frequently. And then you introduce like, hey, you can learn how to do this. Like I'm teaching it. So then I was like,
I have received Reiki from you many times. And so I really do encourage people to work with you. Whether it's coaching, whether it's just Reiki, whether it's both. I do believe in the combo. I've always believed in the combo, because I do think you need to talk things through before and after a session. And things always happen in life that you just need a sounding board. Like sometimes, like I was just on the phone with somebody, and she'd take my class, and just in her telling me about herself and me asking a few questions, she had a huge aha moment breakthrough just from her. Like, I've never said this out loud till right now. Like, oh my gosh, I never made the connection till right now. And it was huge. And so sometimes we need to talk. Reiki is good and life coaching is good, but the combo is amazing.
Like that is like chef's kiss. Like that is and I think that's what, honestly helped me kind of really dig myself out of that. I call it like a hole. If I felt like I was in it, I started to see the light each time, just kept getting brighter. And then, through that, like you brought in the community, and like I've met so many friends, like genuine friends and genuine like people that I've been able to know because of you and because of the community you've built. And so, even through that, it's like, okay, I know you're busy. So now I got like 4 or 5 people. I could just be like, hey, like I'm triggered.
And that's the beauty is like when people start to work with us, they'll see like, it's not just one practitioner. And there is a community of like-minded, like big-hearted individuals that really care for each other a lot and want to see the world be a better place. And while we all have our own authentic expression and our own authentic business that is aligned with like who we are and our passions, we have this similar mission to, you know, really help the world, one person, one animal, you know, one tree at a time, and just through love, really through love. Yeah. Because the world just needs more love and compassion and groundedness right now, you know. So any last words that you have for people interested in this work with you?
I think, you know, we're in tough times. Like, I think that goes without saying, and we all need support, even if when we don't feel like we do. And I think it's really important to have a sounding board, is to move the energy out, like however that is, but in a safe space with somebody you trust. And I think that's the key. And to build trust, you obviously have to like get to know us and learn us. And you can find your whole tribe right here, like through this community, through this network. And I mean, there's so, like you said, there's so many authentic, like people, like everybody's so authentic, they express in their own way.
Yep.
And I know it can resonate with so many different people. So I would say it's just a matter of trusting the process, trusting yourself, that if you're already looking and you're already curious, that there's a reason for that. And
there's a reason you're here and landing on this page.
Yeah. And trust it. And I mean, definitely we're here. Like, we want to help. We have nothing to gain other than wanting you to feel better, because we felt better because of this. So we want to pass it. Like, it's just like passing the baton, it's paying it forward. And that's it. I have nothing to gain from helping others other than feeling excited that they're feeling better. That's it.
And like I said, you know, you have been through so many transitions in your life, and I really think that is your specialty, is helping people through transitions in their life. And so if you guys are feeling called, this is the time to just fill out that contact form, reach out to Simone, and get your healing journey started. Get your, you know, just have a coach to talk to and work through with things. And I really feel the more consistent people can be at some kind of consistent basis, the trajectory of their growth is just going to continue to go up. There's no perfect weeks or perfect days, but I do know when people invest in themselves consistently, and you're one of them that has, you can really see a huge shift. Yeah.
Huge. And it's over time. And like I mentioned this before, like energy work, one session is like taking a shower, like, and expecting it to keep you fresh for like 6 months, you know, like it is a consistent practice. There is consistency that is needed for you to really make the changes, but it doesn't have to take forever, and it doesn't have to be hard. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, it doesn't have to be challenging. None of this is. Talking to you was like the easiest thing I could have done, you know, and laying there. I talked to you and I laid down.
And then you got to lay down and relax and receive. Yeah.
And then I came out of the Reiki, and it's not like I just was like so relaxed and at ease. I stood up, we talked a little bit more just about like follow-ups, and I left, and I just felt like, whoa, what was that? Like, what was that? And that's all I had to do. It wasn't hard, you know?
No.
And then it just kept going, and things started to shift. And I was like, oh, I'm not triggered by that anymore. Oh, I feel better. Oh, I'm sleeping better. Oh, like, you know, like all of those things
you start to notice.
And you start to notice, because it's subtle. It is subtle. But over time, you look back and you're like, wow, all right. Like, I'm in a better place.
Yeah.
So it's not like this, like you have Reiki one time and this miracle light bulb, light switch is going to happen.
And then you never have to do it again.
Never have to do it again. But know that, you know, there's a cadence that makes sense for you. It doesn't have to be frequent. It can be monthly, it can be quarterly, whatever makes sense for you and for, you know. And I think the other thing is, just making sure that you don't have to do anything really. You just have to show up. You don't have to do anything else.
Show up and be authentic to whatever, whatever is going on in your life that you need help with. And I think
honest,
the more, you can be honest with yourself and with your practitioner, the quicker things can shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
You.